Hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, welcome back. I know I haven't done a video in quite some time. It's a bit of a windy day today, so I hope the audio picks up okay on this camera here. Just thought I'd do a follow-up video. I did a video last year on my bike here, which is a 2003 Honda CBR600RR. So I officially have owned this bike for a year now. So this would make it my my second season riding it, and thought I'd just do a follow-up video just to let you know some of my thoughts on the bike, what I think of it so far, and how it's been working out for me. So just nothing's changed on the bike. It's exactly the same as when I first bought it. So I'll just do a quick walk around of the bike again, just to show you what it looks like. So again, it's a 2003 Honda CBR600RR. The mods that it has on it, it's got the tinted windscreen right over there. I don't know if you can see that. It's got the shorty levers, which are also adjustable, so you can kind of pull them in and pull them out depending on how you like it. Steering damper. Now at first I had no idea what this did, and I didn't know what difference it would make, but you know, after a year of riding this thing now, I found out that, and I'm a noob, so I didn't know you could do this until recently, you can actually adjust it. So you can actually turn it completely off, or you can tighten it all the way up, and then what it does, it actually just keeps this, it tightens up the steering so that it'll help keep your handlebars straight. So I found it most useful when you know, you're leaning into a turn, and when you're coming out of the turn, coming out hard on the throttle, keeps the handlebars really still, I should say. And you know, when I had it off, when I was doing the same kind of cornering and leaning the bike into a turn, coming out of it when I'm on the throttle, these things kind of wiggle a little bit if you're coming out hard. So this definitely, I love this thing. It's awesome. Talked about the tank stompers before in my previous video. It just helps you grip it with your legs so that you don't slide forward. It's got the solo seat, the Hindle exhaust. I'll fire it up again later. It's also got the Fender Eliminator. So without this, like, there would be like a pretty big fender over here with the license plate sitting over here. This kind of tucks the plate back there, and these little blinkers over here. So on the front, I still haven't taken off the stickers. They're still on there. People have told me that it looks good. Some people have kind of come down hard on me for, when I bought the bike, the stickers are on there, so I'm neither here nor there on the stickers. I'm not too sure. I don't know if I should take them off or not. I almost feel like I want to take those stickers off and those stickers off, but I don't know. Just lazy, I guess. But it does have the flush mount smoked signals over here. That's it. So that's it for mods. So like I said, nothing has changed on the bike since I got it. So after a year of riding it, I'm gonna try to answer some questions that some people asked me on my previous YouTube video. So people came down pretty hard on me. Some people came down pretty hard on me for buying this as my first bike. Yes, this is my first bike ever. People said that I was crazy, that you know, I shouldn't have bought this bike as my first bike. Honestly, you know, to each their own. I know that you know, my sister, she actually rides a CBR250. Great bike. Did a review on that as well. But you know, in terms of this bike being a first bike, yes, there's a lot of power. So for those of you who are kind of thinking about, you know, do I buy a 600 or do I buy a 250cc? I'll do a separate video on that. But just from this bike alone, just from this this bike's perspective, you know, I really had no problems, even after a year of riding it. And you just have to be responsible. That's what I think. it comes down to, right? I mean, you just have to respect. You just have to respect this thing right here, the throttle, right? No one's telling you to crank it up all the way, and you know, if you go really lightly on the throttle, it's actually a good, you know, it's very, very handleable. Like, you don't, I wouldn't say it's too much power. Now, if you're not careful, obviously, if you're too hard on the throttle, you can definitely get yourself into some trouble if you're not careful. But, you know, from my experience here, I mean, I learned on a CBR 125 when I did my motorcycle course. And, geez, this thing has so much more power than the 125. But like I said, you know, if you're just responsible, you take it easy, this is great, because I'm telling you right now, I probably would have outgrown a 250 had I got one, like really fast I'm talking about. So, because I did ride my sister's 250, CBR 250, and like, just think it just doesn't go. Fun bike. Again, I'll do another comparison on a 250 versus a 600 and what's the best way to go, but you know, I'm not telling all beginners to get a 600cc bike to start with, but if you're careful and, you know, you're responsible, this is okay. I managed fine, and now I'm very, very comfortable on this bike. Very confident. You know, I know kind of the in terms of when the power comes in, and, you know, how to handle the throttle in the turns and the corners. I'm very used to the weight now. I would say, if anything, that you would have to kind of be careful about is, you know, not so much the power, because you can control it, but I would say it's the weight. So when I first bought this bike, I was like, this bike is, it's kind of heavy. And if you kind of look from this angle over here, you can see that the gas, it's a pretty fat gas tank. So, you know, compared to a 125 or even a 250, you know, this thing, when it's, you know, in between your legs, it's kind of, and the dimensions of the bike itself, that took me getting used to more so than the power. It's just the dimensions of the bike and the weight of the bike. But like I said, now after a year of riding, very comfortable with it. I still do not regret getting this bike. What are the questions that people ask me? They ask me, okay, so how much did I get this bike for? So I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, so I got this bike for $6,000. It's a private sale, is obviously used. It had, when I picked it up, it had 9,000 kilometers on it. Just, I guess the previous owner just never really rode it. So it was in just tip-top condition, great shape. People also asked me how much my insurance is. So again, I live in Toronto. Toronto seems to be a city that charges higher insurance rates for motorcycle riding. So probably because it's a heavily populated city, I know that demographics has a lot to do with insurance rates. So I'm paying $1,300 a year, $1,300 Canadian a year. So I'm 32 years old and first-time rider on a super sport bike. So I guess one of the advantages of maybe getting a 250 is also the insurance rates. I mean, it's much, much cheaper, right? But yeah, that's about it. I think somebody also asked, not sure if it was on my previous video, but people asked, is there a way to tell how much gas you have in the tank? And yes, there is. So I'm going to start it up here. So that gauge right there tells you how much gas, if you're going to go low or whatever like that. I'll start it up. Let you listen to what the pipe sounds like again. I just came back from riding, so the bike is nice and warm, so I don't want to get flamed for revving the motor without having it warmed up. It's nice and warm. So that's what it sounds like at idle. Has a nice growl to it. I'm not. This pipe is not as loud as. This pipe is not as loud as other pipes that I've heard on the same bike. But for me, it's good enough. So I see one of my neighbors here. I'm not going to rev it yet. Okay, I'm going to give it a rev and let you guys hear how it sounds again. I know everybody loves to hear how bikes sound, so this is how it sounds with a Hindle pipe. This is just the pipe is just a slip-on, so it's not actually a full exhaust system. It's just a slip-on. So I think it's just the muffler and the pipe that connects right about there. It connects. So it's not the headers, it's not the full exhaust, just a slip-on. All right. Hang on a second. I still see a neighbor, so I'm not going to rev it just yet. What else do I have to say about the bike? I've been doing a lot of group riding. That's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of it's a lot more fun when you're riding with a group of people as opposed to by yourself. All right, here we go. So, Hindle exhaust. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Okay, so what else I have to say? I've done some two-up riding. So, like I said, I have a passenger seat back there, and this is obviously the solo seat cowl cover, but you know, I have put on the actual stock seat and taken on a passenger, and I think that's another advantage about this bike is you know, you can take passengers and the bike will still go without any problems. It's got more than enough power to take on a passenger, more than enough power to go on the highway. I think that's another thing that I've been doing more of lately, is taking this on the freeways. And you know, on my sister's 250, the power is just kind of lacking a little bit, right? So hard to keep up with. I'm not saying you can't go on the highway, but I mean, you know, at the top end of the bike, you're not gonna pass people in a hurry, right? This thing gets in front of cars and up to speed on traffic very, very quickly, like instantaneously. So overall, had a very good time on this bike. Very fun. It's just a joy to ride. I try to ride as much as I can because, you know, when the winter months come, it just limits the amount of time we get to ride. So I get on this every day if I can. Taking it to work. I work downtown, and it's a nice ride. Even in the city, the only thing I can't do is go too long distance on this because we can see the seating position. So the handlebars are very low. So it's a super sport bike. I mean, you're just totally leaned over, and I find that your wrists get pretty tired. Your hands and your wrists, your arms, because you're so leaned over. So that's, I guess, the only gripe that I have. If anything, I would say about this bike is that it's just because it's a 2003, it's missing some of the technology that's on the newer bikes now, like a slipper clutch. A slipper clutch would be great. I've done a lot of you know, hard downshifting where I'm coming into a turn pretty quickly. And then with the hard downshifts, because there's no slipper clutch on this, the rear wheel it just bounces, it just chatters. So wish I had a slipper clutch. ABS, I'm not sure if I don't know if I need ABS or not. I've had locked up the wheel before because you know, just emergency braking. You know, people are stopping pretty quickly in front of me, so I have locked up the wheel before. Nothing, no concern though. Traction control, that's another thing that I'm not too sure yet. I think it'd be pretty good to have traction control. But aside from that, I think the slipper clutch is something that I would really love to have. So maybe as a next bike, but I'm probably gonna ride this bike for a while, as much as I can. I'm very happy with this bike. It's been a lot of fun riding it. No regrets getting this bike over starting with the 250, like I said. So if anybody has any more questions about this bike, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any of the questions, or maybe do even another review on specific things that you want to know about this bike. Highly recommended. Honda's a great brand. I mean, the CBR family of bikes since 2003 all the way up to the current models, the 2013s. Awesome bikes. Awesome bikes. And you know, this is the 2003. It hardly looks dated at all. Those are the comments that I get, right? I mean, this is a clean bike, and the styling, it's, you know, it doesn't get old, right? So that's about it. Thanks again, guys. Oh, some people ask me, you know, what kind of gear am I using? So I'll just quickly answer that right now. So for my gear, this is what I have for my helmet. It's a Joe Rocket helmet. There you go. It's Canadian, true north. I don't have a tinted visor, but what I do have, it's I don't know if you can see it. There's actually a built-in sunshade inside. So there's a switch here. I don't know if I can show you guys with one hand, but there is a switch where if I just like that, it pops up. So pretty convenient. So I can, even at nighttime, and during the daytime, I can flip down the sun visor, and then at nighttime I just flip it back up, right? Because you're not allowed to drive at night with a tinted visor. So gloves, these are just cheapy gloves. They're not the full gloves that go cover your all the way up the wrist, so I'll probably get some new ones. But these are okay. It has the knuckle protectors here, right? It's hard, so. And then my jacket is also a Joe Rocket jacket. It's a full leather jacket, just all black, and it has all the protection on it. So it's got the back protector in there and the elbows. So yeah, it's pretty good. And that's it. I'm gonna end the video here. So again, thanks everybody for watching. As soon as I can get my sister over, I'm gonna do another video where I have my bike right beside her bike, which is she drives a CBR600RR. So, you know, everybody asks the question, you know, should I get a 600 or a 250 for my first bike? I'll try to, I'm not going to answer that for you, it's really up to you guys, but at least I can hopefully give some insight on the differences between the two and what you can expect if you were to buy either or. So look out for that video, but in the meantime, thanks again for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know, just write in the comments. I'll put a link to my first part 1 of my review of this bike 1 year ago in the description, and you can kind of check that out if you haven't seen it. But like I said, if you have any questions, just leave me some notes in the comments and I'll try to answer them for you. Okay, thanks everyone. See ya.